sea stars, and welcome back to Tavern Talk. We have another adventure on our hands today. What disasters wait us today? Millie! Oh my god, she's back! Innkeeper! Surprise! Oh my god! Nice to see that you're back. Is Fable with you? No. Should they be? They were looking for you. They aren't a very good detective then. I'm happy to see that you're well, Melly. Everyone was very worried about you. Why? I'm great at taking care of myself. You are? But where have you been all this time? Investigating things, obviously, like the flood. My investigation led me to Molia. Or more like, they did. Nico, Voy, and Hex, I mean. I followed them to Molia. They were talking about mysteries and puzzles, and I'm trying to solve a mystery, so I couldn't let the opportunity pass me by. You're lucky. People usually pay a lot of money to spend time with me. Why? But because I'm, like, famous? But I didn't go there because of you. I was following clues. Okay. I didn't follow them all the way into the tower. After my last encounter with a wizard, I'd had enough. Where's Hex anyway? You know, doing wizard things. Like arson. That would have been fun. That would have been fun. But instead, he chose to study. He immediately wanted to check out the spells we found. Though, he seemed pretty disheartened. How come? Not sure. I guess he didn't find what he was looking for. Maybe because the world's greatest treasure was already traveling with him. What would that be? Never mind. He told us to keep an eye out for anything time, magic, razzle dazzle. But we found nothing. At least you managed to get inside and return safely. Yeah, the way there was easy peasy. We got there thanks to Nico pulling off a shape-shifting trick and pretending to be a merchant. Stole some guy's coat and face and used his reputation to secure us a boat ride to Molia. Said I wanted to meet with a real estate agent from Magocracy to buy the island. I told them to pick us up in a week or so. By then, we'd be far gone. What happened once you reached the island? A burning tower happened. What? It was an accident. It was fun. It was like fireworks. He must have stored some magnesiums in the attic. Smart of you to give Hex some fire resistance. Else, that son of a gun would have gone up in flames. Let's start at the beginning. Fireballs taste better with a dramatic setup. You're right. I should have eaten the fireball. That's not inspiring as use, Voyo. Before you continue, I'm kind of thirsty. Could I have a drink? Something that tastes like smartness and wisdom. Gotcha. Oh my god! Melly's back! Oh, but now Fable. No, I'm worried about Fable. Okay, so Sparkling Nebula. But I don't need that. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it as normal. Just pour in the charisma and the I believe this is intelligence. I'll have a look in the book. Yeah, intelligence. So let's get this going. This is great. You're really good at picking up clues. Okay, so picture this. We got to Molia, an island so small it's basically Tower's wild backyard. As I walked between the crystalline roses, I expected to see secret passageways hiding behind every corner. I almost brought you a Bacca rose. Why didn't you? I thought you wouldn't like it. I would have. Oh, okay, that's, moving on. The tower itself reached so high, I thought it might be reaching out to kiss the moon itself. It was really tilted at about a 5-degree angle. I measured it with my paws. The bricks were still wet. I'm sure the tsunami shook its foundation. Would think the waves would have done us a favor and knocked down the door, but nope. That locked door was the first challenge. Inico's lockpicks broke. Seemed like a skill issue. Broke? Skill issue? Bro. The door ate my lockpicks. Ah, a door mimic. A classic first step to securing your establishment. You talk like you've seen one before. Have you ever tried to open my door when the inn's closed? No? If you do, don't use any lockpicks and take care of your fingertips. So, how did you get inside? Brute force. Together, we were able to pull the door up enough to break it off its hinges. Together, you didn't really do much of anything, man. Just told us, you can do it, guys, while hiding behind a bush. It worked, didn't it? Anyway, they crashed through and landed on their faces. Swoosh, an axe flew past our heads. Cursed traps. I walked in after them and immediately slipped on the wet floor. But no show is ever lost due to a faux pas. It merely makes you more sympathetic to the audience. Except for the lock. I believe I lost its sympathy completely. Should have played it a song instead. Maybe next time, Voyo. After Hex figured out how to time getting past that swinging axe, we explored the tower. It was so much taller and bigger on the inside. Like a pocket dimension, so freaking cool. Except a tower can't really fit in your pocket. Bet. Hex walked ahead. Guy was really distracted. He didn't even listen to my poem about the symbiotic relationship between axe and door. For a long time we didn't encounter anything. Just a long hallway. No doors, only a bunch of strange paintings. Of course, most hallways can't go on forever, so eventually we reached a staircase. After what felt like 5.5 minutes, eternity. Meanwhile, I was outside investigating the flora and the fauna. Everything was very peculiar, like it was all from another world. The colours were different, very blue and almost spectral, and there were a lot of spider webs, or yarn, not sure which. Suddenly the ground shook and almost knocked me off my feet. Who could have guessed there were pressure plates on those stairs? When I stood up on my tiptoes, I had to cut off a golden cord that would have made for a great belt. I stepped on a pressure plate and triggered an explosion, and clonk! The whole staircase began crumbling into a pit of nothingness. Bit by bit, starting from the bottom. I rushed upwards to safety, away from the weird wizard abyss. But Hex stumbled backwards as the ground gave away beneath him. I grabbed his hand just before he fell, but I'm not as strong as I look. My muscles, along with the courage in my heart, were failing us. Suddenly, I felt a pull on my collar and someone dragged us up the stairs, away from our certain doom. Inako. You know, I was thinking about what else might have been waiting up there. And going at it alone, I could have gotten lost. Thank you for saving us, Nico. No problem, boy. Don't get used to it. Didn't you expect a trap like that? After all, a great wizard would want to protect their treasure. I guess we were a little distracted by all the gold hanging from the walls. The staircases ended in a wondrous library that spiraled endlessly higher around the tower's walls. We lost Hex at the bottom, in the first row of books. A lot of them were drenched. Didn't seem like the tower was waterproof. There was still primordial water dripping from somewhere above. We couldn't make out the ceiling. Tried to reach it though. The second story of the spiral staircase library had 3 paths leading away. Each path ended in a door, and all 3 doors were closed and marked with runes or paintings or rusty old locks. I called for Hex and like 10 minutes went by without a response. So we started looking around, but there were just books and spell scrolls. Don't forget about the scroll in the glass cabinet, that one looked fun. I knew Hex was looking for spells, so I called him again. As soon as I mentioned an oddly floating scroll, he came sprinting upwards, staring at the glass case. He already had another scroll tucked into his coat. Honestly, I was expecting him to be carrying half of the library at that point, but I guess that would have been too heavy for him. Of course, the stupid glass case was also a puzzle. Had no lock, no lid, no nothing. Just glass in a gold frame. The scroll itself was glowing a promising blue. I suggested breaking the glass. Hex gave me his finest death glare, so he investigated the puzzle himself. While they were doing boring side quests, I made sure to stuff my pockets. Found a jeweled silver paperweight shaped like a bird that'll make great for a blunt weapon. Hex was too scared we'd destroy the scroll by triggering another contraption, so he suggested we look around in the adjacent rooms. The riddle doors. Riddle doors that Hex quickly figured out. Sure, a few books got burned, but It's nothing compared to what could have happened. I still don't get what he was talking about. Me neither, to be honest. But we weren't the brains of the operation, so speak for yourself, pretty boy. I think the puzzle had to do with some of the books in the library and pulling on them in the right order or something to unlock the compartments. That held the passwords to get into the rooms, and we had to do that for each door. It was so lame. It was kind of exciting seeing Hex hop up and down the stairs looking for the right books. First password was password. Second password was passwords past the password. And the third one was passwords past the password's password? You wish. But no, it was 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's what Sir Lost It Wizard made us skim the whole library for. One of the rooms was an alchemy lab. Another was a study of all crazy inventions and books. And the third was a gym. A gym. Yup. As soon as we opened all the doors, the whole tower began to shake and rumble again. I believe now it's your turn to tell the story, Melly. Of course! Snooping through the garden, I found a weirdly shaped stone. It was glittering in the sunlight and caught my attention. I picked it up to investigate it further and sort of didn't see the rope attached to it. As if I had pulled out some hidden support beam, the whole tower began to rumble. Carefully, I put the shiny stone back, but nothing changed. The tower kept crumbling, like it was awakening from a deep slumber. You made us think we screwed up the riddle. Technically, we can't prove a correlation. You could have very well screwed up. Doesn't matter who screwed up what. Mishaps make for better stories, I think. The whole tower started turning on its axis, and the bricks were grinding against each other. Finally, something thrilling. It was as though all the traps were activated at the same time. Like a scalded cat, Hex rushed into the wizard's study to grab as many papers as he could. The bookshelves in the library leaned forward and unhinged from the walls as they crashed downwards into the abyss, revealing a dark void behind them. Nightmarish creatures started crawling out of the void. They looked like bats made of stone. They reminded me of my auntie's place. We tried to fight them off, but there were too many, even for me. The tower turned into a living machine, trying its hardest to get rid of us. Had to retreat into the alchemy lab. Hex joined us last minute, pockets full of papers, that nerd, and he cast a fireball right at the monsters in front of us. Obviously, the library caught fire, and the ensuing shockwave sent us tumbling backwards. I knocked over a vial of shimmering red liquid that I had set aside to taste test. With no windows in the room, we were trapped inside while the fire closed in on us. I felt the heat licking my skin and singeing my hair, and then that red shimmering liquid that I knocked over caught fire as well. It started building up pressure in the room like an overloaded valve. It was only a matter of time until we'd explode into pieces. Hex screamed something to me about playing a note, the clearest one I've ever played. I was confused. I thought he'd already succumbed to the fumes. But then Inako reminded me, ethereal bamboo. So I took out my apron and put my fingers to the strings. With the physical pressure of an explosion combined with the mental pressure of having to do it right, he was darn nervous. Yup. Hex tried to keep the fire away from us, but it didn't react to any of his spells. It was straight up consuming them. So I took a page out of Void Boy's book and started yelling encouraging words at him. You weren't too bad at it. Ish. It still took me 3 tries to hit the right note and rip open a portal to the ethereal weave. It was insane. Suddenly time stood still. Everything was frozen by an odd spectral blue shimmer, like the one on the plants. Just as we heard a sizzle of an imploding explosion, we were pulled into the rift I had just created. Whoosh! And we were swirling in a sea of blue and whites. Time was going by very slowly, or not at all. We jumped off the tower, no walls could stop us anymore. Or so we thought, until one collapsed on top of us. Everything turned black. We awoke on the north side of that island. Smoke was rising into the sky. The tower was in shambles. Oh, it sure was. After I put the stone back, it all happened so fast. The tower coiled around itself and started ascending into the sky, when suddenly 3 explosions rattled the building. Boom! The tower was obliterated into pieces, blue and white lights flying into the air. Somewhere in the distance, 3 silhouettes fell from the sky. I snuck up to them and saw Inico, Hex, and Voy lying in the sand. It was great to have a friendly face with the first thing we saw. Should have been our clue to relax, but my man Hex was committed to finding anything he could in the ashes. Didn't even say hello to me. And guess what he found? That crazy Ridley glass case. Not one scratch on it. And the scroll was still floating in there in perfect serenity. He took it. He said he'd figure out how to open it once we were back on the mainland. Couldn't really rescue much else of value, except this peculiar little trinket. Thought it fit your tavern. Oh, I honestly have absolutely no clue what it is. Looks like an orrery to me. What kind of berry? An orrery. They show different realms and how they're intertwined with each other. That's what it is? Some gears seem to be missing though. Also, I have no clue which realms it's supposed to represent. Well, it shows now. Cope. Thanks. Other than that, the spell scroll in Hex's pocket made it out alive too, lucky nerd. He was so disappointed, said he needed to take a breather. I continued investigating traces in the sand. A new set of footsteps had appeared. I thought perhaps the wizard had returned, but then I heard hushed voices. Someone was talking to Hex. Huh? Interesting. Did you travel as a group of 4 after all? I mean, 5? Nah. When I peeked around the tree, I saw Hex sitting by the shore gazing far into the horizon. All by himself. Maybe it was just my imagination after all. When Hex finally graced us with his presence again, I was roasting marshmallows over the fire. They weren't the only thing that was fire. Bud, you're making less sense than me. The marshmallows were delicious, but all the treasure was gone, except for what we had in our pockets. Though, figuring out that my harem could do that was the biggest treasure of the day. Yeah, that was so cool. That does sound very cool. Out of curiosity, how did you manage to get back? Jade saved us. We tried to recruit her, but the party pooper didn't have time. But she decided to follow up after her other quest was done. Bummer there wasn't any loot to share. But hey, at least we had a ride back. I'm sorry to hear that you didn't get what you wanted. I mean, Nico and I had fun. I just think Hex was disappointed. He'll be okay, he's smart. He'll figure out whatever spell he needed from the wizard himself. I'm sure he will. Though, do you think the Megocracy will be upset we destroyed that very valuable treasure house? Don't know, don't care. What a story. I can't wait to share it with Archie. I'll be on my way now. Gotta check up on Hex and make sure he didn't accidentally take a book mimic home. You coming with, Nico? Sure thing. So long, Innkeep. Goodbye, Innkeeper. Don't miss me too much. I'll try not to. Now it's just you and me, Innkeeper. Indeed. I'm glad you're back. You're making it sound like I was lost or kidnapped. I was just investigating without telling anyone. I don't need to tell anyone where I'm going. People care about you, Melly. They get worried if they don't know where you are. Oh, I'm not used to that. But I care about people too, like you. That's good to hear. Oh, Melly's alive, thank goodness. Melly? Hi, Blade. Hi, Dave. Oh, that name is so outdated. You're back. I am. Did you miss me? Did I? I was just very worried. What? You called me Melly. What about it? You've never done that before. I'm sure I have. You even said you'd never call me Melly. I'm just glad you're back. Welcome back to my tavern, Dave. That's a cute one on my latest quest. Dave, you made a good choice. I also went on a quest. Well, at first I wanted to find the moon swamps. You know, the mysterious magical swamp that is said to be magically hidden and only appears in foggy but starry nights. I'd heard that somewhere in the moon swamp, near the portal to the Twilight Chasm, And did you find anything? No. I did find some weird way markers made of bones that seemed to lead somewhere. They had "do not touch" written on them, and the paint even seemed fresh. So it looked like a perfect clue. Then suddenly, there were just gallons of water everywhere. Luckily, I got away quick. And since I was already there, as Pessoa's best detective, it was my duty to discover the flood's origins. Well, at first I was more of a stowaway than a detective. And I also couldn't figure out what— Don't storm off like that ever again, you understand? I was so worried and no one knew anything about your whereabouts. Now. I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have yelled at you like that. It's just, I haven't cared about anyone in so long. And with you and Fable both suddenly gone, I didn't know what to do. I thought you didn't care. After you went away, even though I asked you to be more careful, I thought maybe you didn't want to be my trusty assistant after all. So I went to investigate alone. I'm sorry for leaving. It's alright. I'm used to people leaving and not coming back. I do care, Melly. I'm just kind of new to this whole honesty thing. I'm kind of new to this whole empathy thing. Yeah, I figured. If you'd like, I could fix you a drink to help you find your words again. Don't know if I'm up for trading another secret in exchange. It's on me today. You've got enough to worry about, so let me see what I can do for you. You would think by now I would be good at finding the charisma, with the amount of ones I've done. Let's do Sunny Breeze with a dash of dexterity and a whole bunch of charisma. There we go. Enjoy your magical liquid eloquence. It doesn't taste half bad. This might actually help. So, your quest? Jade said you were stranded on Morlia? Yep, I followed 3 very suspicious looking fellows and somehow ended up on that island. Why do I always run into wizards and magic when I'm out on adventures? And traps. Magical traps everywhere. Sounds very dangerous. A detective's always seeking thrills. I'll make sure to be careful, I promise. It's not about that. I know you know how to take care of yourself. Otherwise you wouldn't have solved the T-Rex case. But don't keep putting your own life at risk in exchange for a quick adventure. Jade told me the whole wizard tower burned down. Did you forget about what happened in Zophod? It wasn't me, I promise. I didn't do anything. All I'm saying is, don't disappear again, please. You're not alone anymore. You don't have to do everything all by yourself. Like you're one to talk. I think you've got a point, Melly. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't listen to him as well, Melly. You're both guilty. But you two have also made a lot of progress already. And I'm glad both of you made it back safely. Heard anything from Fable yet? No, not yet. What about Salem? She came back after the flood. Currently, she's investigating some undead sightings in the Pale Woods. Do you know when she'll be back? No, but the 2 of you can wait here for her if you want. Yes, please. I want to stay until Salem gets back. Alright, I'll keep you company. How about I spice up your wait with another drink? I'll pass. Oh, but I'd like one, please. Of course. Do you want anything specific? The whole adventure was pretty exhausting. Maybe something to combat my mental tiredness. Nothing easier than that. And 3 intelligence. Let's see if this will wake you up again. Oh, thank you. This is delicious. I can feel my synapses is connecting. You know, now that I've had some time to think about it, I think I figured out why Hex was so bummed about the loo. Care to share your insights with us? But of course. He has a younger sister, right? Which always struck me as odd. She looks so much older than him. So, what if she just ages faster than he does? And he expected to find some very special loot in the wizard tower, but he didn't find it. So, what if he was looking for something to extend her life? Like a scroll of immortality? What a foolish idea. Hey, not you. Hex. Even if it's tempting, those are powers that no one should interfere with. I agree. What if she turns into a zombie? I've had enough of them. Definitely. We should tell him when we see him again. Or maybe we should tell Celine when she returns. She seems to be experienced in dealing with the undead. You think it'll be a long time before she gets back? I don't know. Could be very soon. But it could also take a few more days. You've had a long day. Aren't you tired, Melly? No, I'm not tired. At all. Let's wait a little bit longer. Maybe she'll show up and Fable with her. Sounds good? Did she fall asleep? Yeah. Maybe I should bring her home and wrap this up for tonight. That's a good idea. You should get some rest as well. I'll let you know if I hear anything about Celine or Fable. Alright, there's not much for me to do otherwise, except care for Melly. She needs you. Yeah, I think you might be right. Good night, Dave. You know, forget about it. See ya. And I believe that is the day over for this one. Alright, we've at least found Melly. Alright, Sea Stars, we've found Melly. She is back. I'm so excited to have her back. But now I am extremely worried for Fable. So hopefully Fable comes back soon. Something we will find out hopefully next week. Bye!